Better late than never. Let's go.
Beat Money. Beat Money. Beat Money. Beat Money. Beat Money.
K Factor as well as Kaazon's Truth both work and operate up under the Copyright Act of 1976. It's under Section 107, the fair use. Everything shown here is and will be for commentary, criticism, education, news, and research. It is not our aim to defame. However, this will be, as always, right out of their mouth. All rights belong to the prospective owners of the material I'll be using. Anything outside of that will be infringing. So, if you will, we'll sit back and get started. Justice for Nolan Wells. And I'm yours truly, Kaazon at Kaazon's Truth. I'd like to welcome you. Early morning show. early morning. 3:42. Running a little bit behind, but nevertheless, we're here. You're here, or we'll be here, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I want to get to. Let's get on this.
Good morning. Let me say the case that we have been dealing with now for the last several weeks around Nolan Wells is indicative of many cases around the country that have raised serious questions with racial overtones. Attorney Crump and I are going tomorrow, where I'm doing the eulogy for a young black man in Madison, Wisconsin, homeless, and they say had a knife, and there's the tape of him being shot, 3 cops surrounding him, shot and killed, 4 shots. And these cases building up in a
MZ, I had a funny feeling you would meet me up here early this morning. I really did. How you doing?
climate of an administration in Washington that we cannot feel will objectively investigate. There was a time that we could say if state authorities fail us, we can go to the Justice Department. Even under George Bush, we went to the Justice Department. We, at this point, have to hope that one, we could deal with civil courts, or secondly, that there's a balance of power with the Democrats taking the House in November, and maybe the Judiciary Committee under that can at least put a check and balance on cases that need to be investigated. But we are right now where we have 2 parents, lovely parents, I've gotten to know them, that really don't have an answer to the question, is it a civil rights violation or not?
Well, as I wrote in the description, July the 4th, 2026, Horn Island, off the coast of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. It borders 2 counties, Jackson and Harrison. It started off with Nolan Wells last being seen at 3 p.m. At the time, and according to my notes, on his way to hook up and meet up with some girl, that girl, old girl, Katie girl. Those are the description or the names or titles that was first presented to us. Later, we find out that there's some alleged issues that was going on at about 4:30 p.m. July the 4th. And in my humble opinion, maybe not then, but definitely later, once Warren does his sit down with Op Brandon Tatum, he sees, that's Warren now, Nolan in the water with friends, them telling him, come on, let's get on, jump on board. We're sinking and about to go. Oh, I appreciate that, MZ. For me, it's kind of easy, MZ. I live off the Gulf Coast. I've been on the Gulf Coast 26 years now. Other half of my family is from Mississippi. I frequent Biloxi all the time, all the time. And I'm not even a gambler. I just enjoy going over, enjoy the daiquiris, throw me $20 in a machine, see what happens. $50 if I'm in a really, really good mood. I think the most I ever won was maybe something like $326. But I don't be there for that. I kind of like the scenery, especially at the Hard Rock on a Friday night. It be jumping, or it used to be jumping. I can't get to Biloxi without going through Ocean Springs. That's number one. Number two, normally, if I'm gonna stay overnight, I normally stay in Ocean Springs. Again, I'll try to give you a little bit of a visual so you can see what I see. I reside in Pensacola. I can get to Ocean Springs in about 45 minutes, depending on the traffic in Mobile, Alabama. See, we all right here close to each other. Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. I'm telling you, we're only like 45, maybe sometime under. What is starting to become apparent? Let me say this. In my humble opinion, this is just in my opinion, because to be honest, Christine Walmsley, Nolan's mom, she came out the gate sharp and remained sharp. There are some that would disagree. She had a channel, she already had a certain follower, and she began to get this information out looking for her child. I know because it came up in my algorithm. Late 4th of July, if not early on the 5th. To be honest, I didn't think much of it at the time. But as we know now, that was some valuable time. But you only know what you know. So I can't really hold that against the sister. As to Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, in my opinion, they came in 96 hours really behind the ball. Understand something now. Play this down if you want. It's your decision. Nobody can't make nobody do anything. But one of those boys' mom, stepmom, is a chancery judge. I ain't say the little bailer. I didn't say she was a jailer. I didn't say she was a deputy or a police officer. I said she's a full-fledged judge. Now, before you start running, you have to pause for that for a minute. Two, we're talking about the greatest state of Mississippi. Normally this be my off day, but as you can see, I'm up. I have to go do it. Birthday month, but it's also normally my most longest and busiest month. But I took enough time out to make sure that I kept up with this as much as possible. In the greatest state of Mississippi, and there's another story I'm working on. It's an old story, but I thought it was interesting because the phone became important. We were still in the state of Mississippi. You have an incident where a white girl, i.e., European female, was set on fire. Let me see, can I give you a quick glimpse of that? Bear with me 1 second. This young lady here was set on fire. She didn't die right off. She was able to talk, respond. Hell, when they saw her, she was walking down the road. You have to go to my part 1 to listen to the testimony of some of the first responders that found her. And this is important now because we're talking about the state of Mississippi. We're talking about people that's going around like, oh, we got it wrong. We got it mixed up. They're not like this. They're not like that. I'm a little shocked at the Ben Crumps and the Al Sharptons that they never heard of this story. They didn't even have to go as far back as Emmett Smith, Medgar Evers. They didn't have to even go back that far. It could just went back a few years. That young lady up on the screen by the name of Jessica told 8 to 9 different first responders, that's including deputies, fire personnel. I'm not talking about the ones that just kind of pitch in, chip in. I'm talking about the ones that's their job 24/7. EMT, Eric, a guy named Eric. Eric set me on fire, says Jessica. Eric did this to me. One of them testified that she said Eric and kind of looked at him as if he should have knew which Eric she was talking about. At the end of the day, after this woman has given a dying declaration with a name attached to it named Eric, in my opinion, they were so teed off that this Adolph's male had done had some type of relationship pretty early off because she had just not too long met him. And you could tell they had hit it off. When they looked in the phone records, they saw plenty of messages going back and forth, back and forth. Jessica was really into him. You want to guess what his name is? Well, let me tell you what it's not. His name is not Eric. His name is not Carrick. His name is not Derek. His name is not Frederick. His name is Quentin Tellis. Quentin Tellis. Ask me how they wound up charging him. Let you sit on that for just a hot second. Ask me how in the world, at the end of the day, bump what she said, Bump her dying declaration. And when I get to part 2, I'm going to summarize just to save us some time. And then we're going to jump into one particular cross examination. And it was the main culprit who wanted to turn a Quentin into an Eric. That's just blatantly wrong. That's like in your face with it. I'm talking about they was on this man, uh, 2 different court cases. They picked a different jury from I guess you could say not to me though, they didn't change venue, but they did change and brung in a different set of jurors from a different county. A county I'm quite familiar with too, by the way. Matter of fact, as I was following the story some years back, when they named the county, it made me turn my head all the way around. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Nevertheless, we're gonna come back because the cross examination and the nerve and the audacity of law enforcement. We're talking about I'm gonna let him give you his credentials, the detective. I'm gonna let him tell you out his own mouth how he came to the conclusion. As I said a while ago, bump what Jessica said on her way out. Let me tell you what the sad part about it is. Sad part about it is, I'll go ahead and speed it up a little bit. It was a hung jury. That itself is going to be a show by itself, but I'm going to include it in. Let you get a chuckle. I hope they don't beat me up next time I'm in Mississippi, but I'm going to definitely kind of pick on them a little bit because this is madness. You hear me? Madness. This is somewhere Ben Crump them should have also been at. Gonna blame a dude named Quentin and the girl who's passing away, still talking, trying to tell you, and then went in front of that jury, and you still had a portion of that jury. Although I couldn't see them, they sounded like most of them were the Europeans of Mississippi was willing to find this boy guilty with the name of Quentin, even though the girl told them that Eric set on fire. I'm about to get pissed off all over again. The nerve of them. And that boy has been fighting, his family fighting for years. If you look up Quentin Tellis, just this year, not that long ago, from a Louisiana case, I want to tell y'all my opinion on that, but here's a word that you're not going to often hear me use. I'm fixing to use it now. I'm going to use it now. What I want to suggest about that outright scares me. I'm like what Al Sharpton said. I'm not originally from the South. I came South and I love the South. I love the people. I'm talking about they love the crayons, but I love the South. White, black, polka dot, zebra stripe, rainbow, cocoa black, licorice, beige, vanilla, white chocolate. But what I want to suggest, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. But when we get done with this right here and how this led over into Louisiana, I'm going to let some of y'all fill in the blank. Jessica Chambers, dying declaration. Eric set on fire. They charged a dude named Quentin. Back to Nolan. Let's Al go a little further.
And we do not know, how do you trust the words of people that say immediately there was no foul play when you haven't even investigated whether there was foul play? How do you trust people that come back from something that happened?
Well, it depends on who you are. If you the children of some judges, doctors, I've heard alleged FBI agents, some people that work on the law enforcement, another doctor, business owners, in a little small town. Yeah, Al, it can happen. Yes, the narrative will get shaped. I don't care almost what. See, you got to understand. The Negro, don't get mad at me now. Don't get mad at me. The truth is, a Negro has to die the perfect death. It has to be perfect. Perfect. Visual, audio. In other words, on video. Multiple of eyewitnesses. It needs to be up close video too. Can't be too far away. It has to be to the point there's nowhere else for them to run. And then even then, you go back to George Floyd. See, the Negro, I don't know. I've been in the South for some years. Because I don't be wanting no shit. A lot of times I just kind of like, because I can't fight for you if you're not going to fight for yourself. I can't. I have my own family. I have my own children. I have my own nieces and nephews. I'm responsible for them. I don't mind pitching in, because if I feel like you done been done wrong, you done been done wrong. It's cut different down here. I'm talking about these people that went on full court blitz of returning fire. I'm talking about these boys doing interviews like, and they're threatening, man.
And never really give you a straight story of what happened, including you have the keys to the car. So when you have more questions than answers.
You know this is Kaazon's truth. I heard it wasn't on here. I'm gonna have to see what Christine has on. In a minute, I'm gonna let this play a little bit more because I need to see what she has on, so I'll know if it was yesterday or if it was on another day. But sis, Christine, you better be glad I'm a itty little bitty small blogger. I'm normally the one that'll go up in somebody else's video and go into their chat, and normally I'm the one with a name like Kaazon, they can't forget it. I'm normally the one that'll take the air out the room. But as a itty little bitty small committee, and I love my crew, especially the ones that came over from the K Factor. They know how we cut up over there, right? you were going to get nothing. And Christine, baby, you and Elmo need to slow down a little tad because you gave an inconsistent statement on yesterday. Yeah, and I'm gonna go in deeper on how they're keepers. And I don't really like. I don't. Maybe okay. You know what? You cool with that? I'm cool with gatekeepers. But let me tell this truth, Mother Christine. You gave an inconsistent statement on yesterday, babe. I have notes here now. I'm talking about right here in front of me. That's why I keep holding my head down. Notes and right here. Taken weeks ago, and was adding and scratching out as it took off. Mother Nolan, you said early off that the keys were in one location and the phone was in another. Now, baby, I purposely, because you Mother Nolan, and I'm not, no, ma'am, I'm Team Nolan. I'm Team Nolan. I'm not ready to let that slide. He just drowned. Ain't nobody seen nothing. No, nobody know nothing. No. Sound like that Nesto. You know Erica? No. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I ain't never heard of them before. That's exactly what this is like. Al, Ben, y'all are in the mix of Southern power in a little town like that. And I'll tell you something else too. They don't need everybody. That's what I be trying to tell my own people in reparations. They think it takes all of us. I don't need all of you. Hell no. You had Judge Joe Brown said that even though that knee was in George Floyd's neck, he said, Judge Brown now, some of our own people, he said that man died of a drug overdose. Officer Tatum and a couple of more YouTubers who are trying to take up the technique of Officer Op Brandon Tatum. Ridiculous. Christine, when you get a chance, baby, you go back and make sure you might have just misspoke. I'm not holding it against you, but I'd have been wrong. I wanted to be one of the first to kind of step up and tell you. Maybe somebody will get this over to you so you can, I don't know. I mean, I saw it. It's too late. It definitely it caught my attention when I heard you say it out your mouth. You and Elmo, come on now, y'all together every day. Y'all sit down. Matter of fact, Elmo, with no disrespect, just let mom kind of handle the talking. You've done a good job just with your presence being in. America is not built around wanting to hear from dad. And probably rightfully so. Because if it was probably me, I'd probably outright fucking threaten somebody. Open broad daylight. It probably wouldn't have went too friendly when I went to go get them keys. I'd have looked up the citizen arrest statue. My son's shit is in your house. I'm making entry. With the full power invested in you from the greatest state of Mississippi to make a citizen's arrest. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that sounds scary. But if it was your kid, it wouldn't be so scary. Come on, Al.
You have to have people that will drive the answers out, and that's what we do. And that's why I've been involved, and that's why we stay involved. And it gets worse and worse and worse. The parent of one of the boys threatening to sue us for asking a question. Imagine that now. Some of y'all call it, what do you feel about the parents, one of the boys said he's going to sue you and Ben Crump. Sue us for what? For saying what happened? So we've gone back that far.
For asking what happened. That is what's kind of, I don't even know how to word this. It's smooth. But you can do that when you got power. Mm-hmm. And when you have people in your city that will respect that power, I can't say I much blame them. They live there. As y'all know, I took it upon myself to drill, and I'm still on his ass. That Tracestan Sheppard. You know, the one that was totally disrespectful. He talking about he be running around buying death gifts. Have you ever heard of any such thing? You ever heard of a death gift? Right? Tracestan Sheppard is lying. He's lying. How I know? Easy. And if Op Tatum ever come across this and he wants to try to debate that, he, ma'am and sir and ma'am, he will get them feelings hurt fooling around with me. Tristan went around Rolling Stone, TMZ, ABC, Op Tatum. Ain't no telling how many more in between. No, he can't go up in no store and buy no damn Gatorade and no Red Bull. Hell no, he can't. Little liar. That was me yelling. But he ain't never tell you. Because remember, when this first popped off, and according to my notes, yep, I got it right there, Tracestan. Before Tracestan came on the scene, he came on the scene 9 days later. We was hot on the trail of the video I played on part 1 of this, where there's someone on the beach, they're dropping some F-bombs, they're wanting their keys, their phone, not their keys. I'm sorry, I keep saying keys, not the keys. This person is yelling, "Give me my phone." Tracestan is saying that was him. However, it took for a little itty bitty blogger. That's why I know they're not smarter than I am. But they will get all the credit and all the juice and all the followers. They will get that. And I'm not mad, right? I'm not mad about that. Right? None of them asked him, with all those credentials, all those beautiful microphones and headsets and screens. I'm talking about thousands of dollars of equipment. Nobody didn't lean over that microphone and ask that lion Tracestan Sheppard, who was he talking to? Who took his phone? He gave you the story of how he got into the fight. It didn't have nothing to do with a phone. He bullying his girlfriend. He was bullying it. Oh no, let me use his word. He was bullying his old lady. Old lady is the quote, by the way. And he got checked by a man. A man checked him. Hey, boy, I don't talk to her like that. That's my. You can imagine what he said. This my B. You don't nobody tell me how to talk to my, but they talk like that. They claim we do. They really talk like that. You don't tell me how to talk to my, I'll talk to this however I want to. Spock. Dude, Spock them upside his damn head. That's what that fight was about. It didn't have nothing to do with him. It was not him. And for him to say that that was him tells me he is an effing liar. Liar. Talking about can't nobody say that. I just did. Anyways, as I try to take a deep breath and calm down. I ain't like that. I saw the play. When that video itself was, I'm not talking about the CETO. We ain't got there yet. I'm talking about when we first came out that gate, that was the first lead. Mother Nolan was truthful. She said she was so upset. She just, I don't know. I don't know. Then you had a Negro coach to come up. That ain't Nolan's voice. I'm Coach so-and-so. I'm the assistant coach. I coached the water boy. He better. You can do that in small towns, fam. You can pull out what you need. They'll fall into compliance. This has been going all the way back to slavery for us. All the way back to slavery. To go find a buck-toothed Negro to come intervene, interject their story into it, pre-planned, allegedly. We was on that. Man, please, them people made a phone call. We need somebody with some Negro in them. You know what? Let that be Tristan. Yeah, call Tristan up. Hit Tristan up. Yo, Trish, you been following? Because remember, according to my notes, everybody that's the boys went radio silent. Killed all social media. Dead. Gone. Except for a person that would know how to communicate. And that was the judge. Not one. She made two, didn't she? Yeah. She made one post on that day. Huh? She made that post on another day where she wrote almost on a letterhead, if my memory's correct. I didn't put that in the note. Her son last saw him at 3 o'clock. How they know it was exactly 3 o'clock? I don't know. Warren's is stuck in between. Did you see him at 3, son, or did you see him at 4:30? And remember, son, I don't care what that woman done souped your head up. That ain't your mama. That's your stepmama. So it ain't in your blood. It ain't in your DNA. Now, the kids that came from the judge, it'll be in their DNA to be able to make a comment. You, that's your stepmama. It ain't in your DNA, boy. It ain't in you. And that's why you've been on stage up there with that Op Tatum looking like a god doggone ghost. Not that you seen a ghost, looking like a ghost. I don't want to say too much, but 1990, Jesse Jackson was hired to help with a union issue. Seems like I remember that. He stole all the money and left the store. They're only there to muddy the water. Their background is so corrupt. True. But Christina needed some balance. She was fine She honest, you know what? You know what? Respect. You know what? She didn't really need them. Mother Nolan really didn't need them because she already had followers. So mama really technically did not need them like that. Although now, once the sheriff said, was he the chief of police? The sheriff Ledbetter. Sheriff said, it seems to be no foul play, an accidental drowning. You had to go get some backup. You had to.
And that is why we're going to stand with these parents, because usually, you know, I come from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised there. I don't come from the South. But
I was born in Orange, New Jersey. And I came to the South. Fired up, too. Swear to God. 11, 12 years old. I jumped out the car. Was ready to round up them people and go, let's go find these people. Let's go find them men that were chasing them women and children around with them dogs, sticks, and fire hose. Little young mind back then. They'd have plucked me with their finger. I'd have did about 30 flips. But in my heart, and at that age, I knew I was looking at something that had been done wrong to my people. And I don't have no problem with calling them my people because they're mine. Doggone it.
But my mother used to bring me down south to my grandmother in Dothan, Alabama.
Dothan, Alabama. Al, I did not know that. Let me show you how much I know about Dothan. We don't call it Dothan. We call it Circle City. If you know, you know. I didn't know it. I did not know your folk was from Dothan. Dothan is right down the road from where I became a man at. Worked at the major university up there in Troy. Dothan is about 45 miles south of Troy, as Montgomery is 45 miles north of Troy. Yeah. Oh, Dothan. I used to work in Dothan. Pressure washing. Wait, this had to be around 92. Now around 1992, 93, I used to go down and pressure wash those Shell and Cannon trucks. Dothan. I did not know that, Al. Go ahead.
And Congresswoman, my grandmother told me, you see that pen over there? I said, yes. She said, that's a pen of hogs and pigs. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, always know something. If you take a brick and you throw it in that pile, the hog that hollers is the hog you hit. There's too much hollering going on in Mississippi.
Ain't it now? Now, that's true. It appears to me, Al, that the adult done finally told the boys everything is going to be okay. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. You do what you want to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make me a list. Because I saw some names, some well-known names, Joy Reid. There was another woman up there. Let me tell you something. Hold on 1 second. And I'm trying to be calm as I say this. But I'm not playing. I don't play around with these folks. I don't play. I'm quiet. I'm unpredictable. We're not playing these games, though. The adults have told those boys they almost is good to go, in my opinion. The CETO tape, though, the CETO call, let me be clear on this, then we'll get back to this. If you are Negro, ADOS, mistakenly called black, if that's what you are, and you tell me, or in my presence, you heard absolutely nothing, although I'm not subscribed, I got to unsubscribe. I refuse. I refuse to be around. I refuse, even if they're mine, even if they're my people, I refuse to be around that. I'm not hanging around that. No, that tells me a lot right there. It tells me a lot. You got other things. You willing to go the other way for a reward, maybe, or maybe not later. And that's not good enough for me.
Mississippi that we haven't hit something. I can't figure out which one we hit, but we hit something. Because now they talking about lawsuits. They threatening a mother, threatening a mother of a child, trying to get her job taken. You wouldn't be hollering if we wasn't hitting something. And we're going to stay on that, and we're going to stay on it all the way. In light of that, before attorney, and I call him the Attorney General of Black America, gives us the legal basis, and then we hear from the parents. Congresswoman who lived herself through dealing with the whole tragedy of her own son. That's how we met. On a plane. She was a flight attendant at the time. And she stopped me on the plane and said, "Well, man, why ain't you dealing with my son's case?" And we started a relationship. She ended up being elected right here in Georgia and reelected. They redrew her lines, and she was reelected anyhow. The lines couldn't reduce the favor of the people. Congresswoman Lucy McBath.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Her part was a little long. Let me jump over here in the chat. I have zero respect for any of those two people. They're not attorneys. They made their money off false pretense. You talking about Al and Ben? I don't either. But Christine and Elmo needed them. I wouldn't. Come on. You think I would have had Ben Crump reading my son's medical examine report? You think I wouldn't have jumped up before the cameras were turned on? If Dr. Mitchell cannot make it, then there needs to be a doctor that can speak and read these notes in the place of Dr. Mitchell, not no Ben Crump. Not speaking too much. My husband was 20 years older than I in the movement. They were all so wanted to be the leader, and I'll wait on the other half. Um, I'm in total agreement, and I do want. I listen. I'm not going to go too far into this. I keep saying I'm gonna call my girl. I like to call her name. I'm gonna call my sister. We walk to school every day. I've said enough that maybe if somebody was really following Ben Crump, they might even know who and what I'm talking about. I'm glad the sister did get a chance to team up with some other sisters. Got a Netflix special out there, and let people look in. Right? They needed. They did and didn't. But I gotta be honest now. I gotta be honest now. Own it. Once the sheriff came out and indicated, in his opinion, there was no foul play and that it appeared to be an accidental drowning, somebody was going to have to do something. I'm gonna be honest with you. Something was going to have to give, because I mean, and it's fair for me to say that, and we don't even have to quarrel about it. The reason why is I live not that far from Ocean Spring, but I don't live in Ocean Spring. I don't know who. It seems like Nolan's mom would have had some. How do I want to say this? Influential people around her. I know they said that this wasn't true, but the ones that said it wasn't true got me believing that could be some truth to it. That Nolan's mom, Nolan, on that side, possibly was related to Ida B. Wells of the Wells family. I don't know. I'll tell you this much. I looked at I think his name is Charles Wells, uh Christine's father. Christine should have a brother by the name of Charles Wells Jr., as Christine was a Wells until she married Wobsley. She also said on that night she was talking to her grandmother. See, I do genealogy. You can say a few things, and there's a few things, it's like putting it into a computer. And it did. It kind of hit me there. I'm like, okay, wow. I'm looking at 4 generations there. Nolan, Nolan's mother, Nolan's mother's parents, and then at least one of the mothers of one of those parents. That's 4 generations. And now the gene pool done been, and that man wanted to have 3 daughters. The young man wanted to have 3 little girls. I think I remember the names, but I'm not going to put them up here. Once he gets into it, the governor, that's what did it with the Medgar Evers case on the very first trial. The governor walked in. Meanwhile, Mississippi governor said, I don't know nothing. I don't know what's going on down there. I just know it wasn't no foul play. I bet you that. I bet you they said there ain't no. And I'm talking about, some of the Mississippi men that got that gizzard up under their chin. It looked like it holds and preserves the word mm. Mm. It looked like it holds right there. I'm just saying what it looks like to me. Don't argue with me. Don't fight with me. And yes, I can actually, if I wanted to, I don't. But yes, I definitely have a degree in history. So don't fight with me on that. I know what they look like. There are some bloggers that are, in my opinion, although I understand they want to speak on it, they need to leave it alone too at the same time. Not to make no room for nobody else. It'd be a little bit embarrassing. I was watching a Willie D clip. Dennis Sperling came on. And I've been on Dennis Sperling. I be on any of them. If you are a lawyer, judge, and you have the audacity to come up on and put your face up on the screen on YouTube, and you are masters of law, your whole job, your life is centered around law. And then you get up on that camera and call my people black, I feel some type of way about you. I'll listen, because there might be something else I need to get. But in all for realness, you dead ass wrong for that. Dennis Sperling, though, told the truth about something. He told it to Willie D's face. Dennis Sperling, in one breath, he like, yeah, I might be black. I think he went down there to Southern, pledged Alpha Phi Alpha. When I look at him, I say, yeah, he definitely would be an alpha. Alphas were mainly the fair-skinned brothers. Normally back then in 1906, most of them had European fathers and slaves or ex-slave mothers. Uh-huh. That's all I'm going to say on that. Dennis Sperling said something, though. Dang, man, if I had the time, I'll go grab it. He told Willie D, he said, Willie D, listen, you know, you in for the people and everything, and I get that. He said, I'm with the establishment. I'm part of the establishment. It's right there. Me and those brothers and sisters, we bump heads. Just to keep that paycheck fat, they'll come and tell you, yes, you are black. Me with no money, I'm trying to tell you, fam, you have no idea what you're doing by willfully, even though maybe not knowingly, but willfully opening your mouth, using your lips, your breath, your tongue to agree, claim to be black. They have something for your black ass then. I'm tired of playing around with that shit. If you gonna fight me that yes, no matter what I say, Dennis Sperling, Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown, DK, them people got more money than you. They got more education than you. They be too scared to tell me to my face they smarter than I am. But I'll say they pretty sharper than I am. It's their field of study. They did it day in and day out. I just know it because I have to protect myself as well as my family. And most importantly of all, you know what they say, right? You don't know what they say? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what they say. They say ignorance of the law is no excuse. So if that's true, if you're in layman's term, I'll tell you. In layman's term, what they're originally saying is you can't come up and say, I didn't know that was against the law as a defense. Sit with that for a couple of Sylvia seconds. Sit with that for just a couple of Sylvia. If you know, you know. Those of y'all that know from the Cape, you know what I'm talking about. Sit on that for a Sylvia second. If you cannot use, I didn't know that was against the law as an excuse, as a defense, and they tell you ignorant of the law is no excuse. Well, now, wouldn't that tell you that every last one of us, I know I do, should have a law dictionary somewhere around, just so you could check, to see if you're right, if you in legal standing for agreeing to be black. Maybe unbeknown to you that they have a set of Christian black codes, aka the black codes for such people. I heard one dude up there, I ain't gonna lie, I was getting a little bit teed off because the point he was trying to make was fair. That's as best as I can give him. It was a C. It was fair. The fact that the CTO call through TMZ had 20 more seconds to it than the original CTO call that Ben Crump them do have. But he was saying there has to be nothing to it because Ben Crump them haven't said anything on it. That doesn't mean that to me. They just tell me it ain't because I don't need Ben Crump to know what I heard. I don't. I don't need Ben Crump for what I know I heard. Anyways, let me hear Tatum.
Wells case, and I have some things that I have to tell you guys that you're not going to hear anything else. People are leaking this information to me, and you need to listen to this.
Just the fact that he said people are leaking. Now, the DA said everything is on lockdown. No information is not coming out until she put her grand jury together. People were debating on, well, Brandon Tatum came out and they said, and they're that the police department, now they not even what's the word I'm looking for? Investigating a murder. So I looked in the chat and everybody was responding to that part. Like, I said, well, what he said is true. You gotta listen, family. Damn. If you're not gonna listen, look, go find one of the babies, one of the grandchildren. I don't know. Promise them an ice cream. Tell them to sit right there. I want you to listen. I want you to listen good, babe. And when they're done, I want you to repeat back to me what they talking about. Summarize it for grandma, for dad, for grandpa, for can't see nothing uncle, talk too much auntie. Right? Go get one of the babies. He's right. Check it out now. The police department is not investigating a murder or nothing else. He's right. Hold that for a second while I take a puff of my cigar. Kaazon Truth said that Op Tatum is right. The police are not investigating them boys for no murder. And then Kaazon's Truth came in and said, Op Tatum is right. And I'm going to tell you why he's right. He's right because the sheriff department oversighted by the FBI, but not like what you think. Because like I told you on that other video, when you first heard that the FBI was involved, the FBI was not involved on the side of Team Nolan. The FBI, be clear now, the FBI was not on the scene in the picture to solve that question right there. That's not why they were there. They're there. Not all. But there's a good amount of cities that have an FBI office already there. We have one here in Pensacola. The IRS, tax people, FBI, other federal entities, all in one building. I think the FBI was like up there on the 5th or 6th floor, something like that. Right? They are part of the locals, though. They eat at the same restaurants. They go to the same bars. They tell their same police stories, how they became what they became. They all mess around with each other. Never mind. Anyway, the FBI was not there to solve this. The FBI came in once the judge alleged that she was getting threats. And what tickles me is, remember, she killed her social media for this very reason. Very, very, very early off in this. Keep that in mind now. I got my notes right here. Within 48 hours, that woman of the boy being seen last at 3 p.m. by her stepson or 4:30, pick one. I keep trying to, a lot of people, they keep trying to tell you, boy, that 90 minutes right there is crucial. And he said it out his own mouth. And they talking about if the roles were turned around, it'd be the same. Are you kidding me? 4 young men go out, amongst others, according to the picture. We can use that as a base. 4 young men go out. 3 of them are Negro, 1 European. When they come back, it's 3. The 3 Adolfs, Negroes, they come back. The European boy is nowhere to be seen. And then the day after next, in the morning, high morning, 8:45. And this is where I get lost at. I don't know whether he was physically in the water or had he washed up on the beach. I don't know. We don't even know. I haven't even seen the guy. The person that was patrolling that found him. Then you got Brian Tresham. Brian Treshard, Vice President of the Cajun Navy. Showed up and showed out during when Katrina. I always wanted to go back because it was really, really hard. He said a lot, but then turn around when you take another look, he said nothing at the same time. In my opinion, was playing both sides. Both sides. But I am interested in those boats that he said was not there when he first took air in that plane to search. Nobody was there. And when he circled back around a little bit later on, as the announcement was coming in, there were like 3 boats there. He said it a certain way to let you know they was not a part of the Cajun Navy. You can see on video the law enforcement now that they done found they on their way now. It ain't like law enforcement was out there and it was a big hoorah and then boom, the boy washed up on shore. No, that's not what happened. Brian Tresham said there was some boats there. I want to dare say he used the word you know what? Since I can't remember the exact quote, I just know he put some emphasis on those boats.
It's gonna break the internet, to be quite honest. As some of the stuff that I got to tell you, we're gonna talk about Nancy Grace and what she said. Judge Mathis, brother, we need to talk. And before we get to any of that, we're gonna address the things that I just heard. People have reached out to me about something really concerning related to Nolan Wells and who may have seen him last before he passed away. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
As much as I could do it at. That was his rundown. Because remember now, nobody's not bothering nobody. What are we trying to do? We're trying to find out what happened to Nolan's Wells. That's all. No more, no less. We just want to know what happened. This is my part 2. I strongly advise you in the description, get that over to Mother Nolan. If we don't get a chance to go into that a little bit deeper this evening, because I have to hit it again tomorrow, I'm on a full court blitz. Long story. Should have a good ending. At least I hope it does. Saturday evening or Sunday, that'll give it enough time to see what else is going on, which is probably nothing. We're going to come back and speak more on that message that I want to send over to Mother Nolan. So until then, we'll be back. And we'll go from there. That way, we'll all. This has been a Kaazon's Truth production. Any questions or concerns, you can reach me at Kaazon@gmail.com. That's Kaazon@gmail.com for any questions or concerns. Please, if you didn't hit that like button when you came in, please hit it on your way out. When you came in, please hit it on your way out. We're going to finish up that Jessica Chambers and Eric, and we're trying to figure out how they came up with a Quentin. We're going to finish that. All of that in the greater state of Mississippi. 45 minutes down the road from me, depending on the traffic in Mobile, Alabama. My name is Kaazon, and I was in charge of Kaazon's Truth. We'll be back. Y'all have a good Friday. I'm going to get ready to hit it myself. Until then, y'all hold it right there. We'll be back.
Beat Money.